Edition of NASCAR DFS preview. I'm AustYn with the Sports Chief, and we're heading to Dover International Speedway for the Drydene 311. So we're having a doubleheader in the Cup Series with the, of course, race running today, and then we'll have one tomorrow as well. They shorten the races from 400 laps. That's what it typically is at Dover. Of course, those of you who do not know, Dover is a mile-long concrete track, oval, I guess. High banks, high speeds. They're going to have the 750 horsepower package for this weekend, so that's going to be interesting to watch. So a little higher horsepower rating. This is a new tire for Dover, so that will be something to see. Also, they've ran this tire code, I believe, at Fontana, Darlington, and Homestead. So really the closest track to Dover, I guess, would either be Bristol, which is a half mile, which that's still not really that close, and then I guess Darlington would be a semi as far as the speeds and everything, but Dover is pretty unique on the circuit. Jimmie Johnson is the king at this track. He's won here 11 times. He's starting in a really good spot this week. We'll see if he can pull it off here in his last year. Maybe he'll get one last victory here at Dover, so that would be pretty cool. But so yeah, we got the Xfinity race today at noon. The truck race was yesterday, so a lot of racing this weekend. So we'll try to put out a video this afternoon or evening for tomorrow's race. But let's see what DraftKings has to offer for us in the Saturday slate. So let's check it out. So Ryan Blaney is our most expensive driver. He's starting in 20th, and he's at 11.8. Kevin Harvick starting in 10th at 11.4. Martin Truax Jr. starting in 3rd at 11,000. Kyle Busch starting in 22nd at 10.6. Denny Hamlin starting in 2nd at 10.2. And Chase Elliott on the pole at 10,000. So we actually have, let's see, 6 10K drivers, which is the norm for the past. We've been only having like 4 or 5 here as of late, so DraftKings added a couple more guys at the most expensive tier there. Now, this is what I really had an issue with in starting my lineup. So Ryan Blaney is starting in a great spot. So is Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch. I've been picking Kyle Busch decently heavy. Didn't pick him last week where he ended up 37th. Had the issue there. But this is a decent track for him. I wouldn't say it's his best, but he performs pretty well at almost every place. To me, in terms of performance, now, there was only a couple drivers I could think of in the top of my head without looking at any statistics. I knew that Jimmy was great here. Chase Elliott seems like he's always pretty good here. He's won here once. And then Martin Truax. This was one of his tracks where Truax, when he started off his career, he wasn't performing very well. And Dover was one of his better tracks, being that I guess they called it a home track, but he was good here. So that was the drivers I was thinking in my head. I knew Joey Logano was decent here. Other than that, I had to do some more research. So one driver that's starting in a really good spot is AustYn Dillon. He was off last week. Comes back here. He's starting in 32nd. He's at 8.7. So that's really good for him, even though that's a little higher than I would want to pay for AustYn Dillon. That's a really good spot. So thinking about this, do you really need to pick Blaney in 20th or Kyle Busch in 22nd? Do you really need that cushion? I don't think so, and I think you have to put Dillon in your lineup because he's a top 15 driver. And those, 17 spots would be major. And I don't think Kyle or Blaney will dominate the race. There was 2 drivers, basically. Well, 3, I guess you could say, but 2 in my mind. You had Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, and Truax in 1, 2, 3. Chase has got the first pit stall. That's very, very advantageous for him. Dover has a really slow speed limit on pit road, and it's it's a mile, and you get around the track really quick. It's very fast. So pit strategy is going to be very important. Truax actually has the last stall, so when he comes in, he's going to be pitting, and then he just takes that long ride down. So I think the first and last pit stalls are very important. And that led me to go with Martin Truax, basically. So this is more of a gut feeling thing. I think that I got those 2 spots that he could possibly finish higher. Truax has 3 wins here. His average finish is 12.2. And I just have a really good feeling that Truax will come away with a win. Chase Elliott, to me, while I think he could win the race and very easily could, it's something that he's not shown that he can dominate a race. And I'm looking for a driver that will dominate. And to me, Denny Hamlin even beats him on that. I think Truex can go out there. If he can get the lead early, he'll be very, very hard to catch. He's very good here, got a lot of laps, and with no practice and things, I like the experience. So going with Martin Truex Jr. because I feel like I can get some positive EV in other spots for cheaper drivers rather than going with Blaney and Busch and Harvick. While I think those will be picked heavily, I think Chase will be picked heavily. I'm hoping that Truex and Hamlin in that top tier will be picked lower, and hopefully I went with a good one there. Scrolling down to the bottom, Corey LaJoie is actually very low priced, and I think you're going to see him picked a good amount. Corey's just not that good here at Dover, even though I believe he has the race sponsor. I believe he has Drydene on his car this week. He's just 29th. If he's starting in the 30s, it'd be a little more intriguing. I just don't see LaJoie finishing much higher than 25th. And, Dover's a track where people get lapped easily. They have long green flag runs. And if you're starting towards the back, you better hope that you get to the front quick enough. So one driver I'm going with is John Hunter Nemechek. He's starting in 31st. He's at 6'5". His past history, now he hasn't ran a cup race here, I do not believe. I'd have to... Actually, he did run the tail end there at the end of the year, so I'm not 100% sure on that, but I do know that his Xfinity average finish is 9.8, so he's a 10th average finish. He's got 3 top 10s and 4 starts. Seems like he was always up towards the front, and I think he's got the horsepower to get higher than 31st for sure. If Nemechek can give me a top 20, that would be awesome. So that's where I'm going with that. Scrolling up here, I'm going to cut it off here at Ryan Newman. So he's at 23rd. Matt Kenseth is an intriguing option because he's starting in 26th. Kyle Larson actually won here the last time the Cup Series came to Dover. And I think that car will be decently fast. And, I went away from doing that. And there's 2 drivers here that I really want to go with. So I've got Cole Custer and Christopher Bell and Matt DiBenedetto there in the 7.6, 7.4, 7.3 range. Christopher Bell has 2 wins in the Xfinity Series, and his average finish is 7.8. Cole Custer's average finish is 5.3, and he's got a win here in the Xfinity Series. Those guys are very good at this track. Now, I think they can finish higher than their EV. Custer may be a little highly owned. I don't know that Bell will be. So I'm going with Christopher Bell and Cole Custer. I'm going with the 3 rookies there. Yeah, so we're going with 3 rookies, seeing what we can pull off. I like their track record there. And, Stuart Haas Racing Engines, Christopher Bell, driving the Joe Gibbs Racing Engines. And I think Bell will perform okay here. DiBenedetto got 7th in the same car. And I know that they sold their team out and everything. But I think that the talent is there. And he's a dirt driver, just like Larson was. And those dirt guys seem to be pretty good here. So I'm going with Christopher Bell and Cole Custer. Now, we have 8,800 to spend. It's easy for me. I'm going with AustYn Dillon there at 8,700. I probably should have picked him a little earlier in the show just to say that I'm going with him. I think that his value at 32nd, like I said, he could get 15th, and it would be great. And I think Dillon will stay up front before they start lapping people. And I think Nemechek will do as well. And I think Bell and Custer, as long as they run a decently sound race, I think they'll stay up there and avoid getting lapped. So, even have a chance to move up. And here's my other option, Aric Almarola. So, Aric Almarola starting in 17th. His average finish is 16.3. He's starting in 17th, so that's a higher starting spot than where he averaged his finish is. Well, that wasn't worded very well, but where his average finish is. So, he finished 6th in his first start here in the 43 car. And while he's run like top 20 every race with the 10 car, I still think that he could get a top 10 here. AustYn Dillon, going back to him, his average finish is 20th. So he's just starting higher than, or starting lower than where his average finish is. So anyway, that's where I'm going with. So let's just go ahead and clear it out here. I think you have a multitude of options, and it's a tough week. And I think my strategy is definitely a tournament one. I'm going with Truax in third, thinking that he could dominate the race, and I'm picking all guys who I think will finish higher than where they're starting. So my second option here will be Eric Almarola. Then I'm going with Dillon. Eric Almarola at 8'9", AustYn Dillon at 8'7", Christopher Bell at 7'6", and rounding out our lineup will be Cole Custer and John Hunter Nemechek. So there you have it, folks. That's what the sports chief is rolling out here. So I do feel like this is, in terms of pure performance, this might be a weaker lineup, but I think there's a lot of potential in this lineup. Definitely think, Cole Custer's won a race. AustYn Dillon's won a race this year. So we have winners in it. Eric Almarola's came very close to winning, and then you got Martin Truex. So, and John Hunter Nemechek, I think, will run pretty well. So anyway, that's our lineup. Hope you learned something from this lineup here. We have a lot of guys starting really high positions. So our afternoon show will probably be, of course, we have to wait and see how the race finishes out. Starting position is always really important when you're going and doing this. So if you like what you see here, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Tune in for the video tonight. Hit that bell notification. That way you know when it goes live. And follow us on Twitter at TheSportsChief as well as on Instagram. So best of luck to you. We have a lot of racing this week, so hopefully we started off pretty well here with the Drydene 311.